That's a decent view, huh? All right, check it out. I don't know where I sit in this frame, but I think I'm close enough. My name is Noah. I am a entrepreneur, a mechanic, a problem solver, a creative. Why am I doing this? What's the purpose of this Instagram page I put together? Over the years, it's just been sharing my interests, like these cars, art, XYZ. As of today, I finally decided that 9 to 5 doesn't quench my thirst, to quote the great Pusha T. It doesn't. What does quench my thirst is using my creativity to solve problems, building something that I feel is worth a damn, helping people. I like making money too. So right here, what I got is my 1997 Honda Civic EK hatchback. The project in progress is a K24 A4 swap. To keep it simple, that is a 4-cylinder motor out of a 2005 Honda Accord. You can find it in many other cars, but the one I found it in was a 2004 Accord. 2005, my bad. The motor, the transmission, shift linkages, part of the charge harness all came from that Honda Accord. I bought that car for a price, stripped everything out of it, junked the car, bought some motor mounts off the internet, Passport Performance, got it bolted in, took a Honda Integra, well, Acura Integra subframe, still working that out, and that's where I used to mount this in here. We got a fuel system from eBay, AN lines included. What else? Intake situation, I'm still figuring that out. Exhaust, got that off Facebook Marketplace for a price. We have a Yonaka catback from the D series that we're working with, and we're working on getting that modified to make it made up the way it would as if I still had a D series in here. Everything else, we're still figuring it out. It's a budget build. We're not going to, blow doors off anybody. We're not looking to make 1,000 horsepower. I'm looking to make the stock horsepower first and then see where I want to take the build in the future. If I want to go turbo, supercharged, upgrade the motor, upgrade the head. These are decisions to be made in the future. Tell you a little bit more about it. AC power steering, no power steering, no AC. So we've got an idler pulley up top from Bull Boost Performance, and deleted the AC compressor. The belt is fitted in pretty nicely. Right now, where we sit, we're working on a few things. Cooling system. My fan is stock, D series, single core. Do I have faith in that? Cooling my motor? No. Especially not when it's paired with a $20 fan from eBay. But it's what we got, and it makes me feel better looking at the car. It makes it feel more complete. Now, down the road, look to upgrade it, get some better parts. Because right now, the motor doesn't even start. The heater core, of course, I damaged one of the pipes, so I need to go replace that heater core with a new one. I've got that already. Just procrastinating and counting the days. That doesn't sound good, does it? I'll get to it when I get to it, okay? What else we got here? Well, where we sit today, the car will crank because I have my starter wired up. There was a time where I would turn the key and the fuel pump would prime, and that Now it's not priming. So we're trying to figure that issue out right now. We're trying to figure out why fuel pump was priming. I take the fuel system apart, just the hoses, to remake some ANs because they were leaking. Time passes by, I put the new AN fittings back on, ready to test it, no fuel pump. Now, what else did I change? I may have moved some things around. I didn't touch my main grounds, but I redid the charge harness. And by redid, I mean, maybe I can put some pictures in. Check this out. If it's still under here, there we go. Make sure it's still recording. One of these days I'm gonna run it for storage on this phone, but this here, little electrical connector, I put one hose in like, well, I put one wire in like that, one wire in like that, twisted it on, and that's how it was working. And it worked, but I knew I didn't want to run it like that. So I ended up trying to solder it. Soldering didn't work, so we just put them together best we could, you know, ensured a tight connection, wrapped it with some electrical tape, send it. Starter cranks over, not super strong, and I believe that's a battery issue. That battery's dead, needs a charge box on it to even get it to crank over. That's okay. I swapped the battery from my daily on there, and it gave me a little more. So this charge harness here that I got from eBay didn't work, so I'm looking to sell it because we passed the return date. And on this car right here, we're gonna assume that the amount of crankage that I have, maybe I throw in a clip, maybe I don't. We assume that that starter turns well enough to start the motor. I just need everything to work in unison with that to get things actually going. Meaning I gotta figure out this fuel pump issue. Starter works. Are we getting spark? That's for me to find out. Are we in the right timing? That's also for me to find out. Check the timing. I would either A, need a timing light, or B, take the valve cover off to go check that out, and then crank it to TDC. Maybe take the crank pulley off. It's a maybe. I don't know if I really want to do that, but we want to tackle this one step at a time. And I want to split it into chunks. You know, the cooling system is one thing. Cooling system isn't relevant until I can crank the motor over and get the motor started. Same with the brakes, same with the subframe and the steering. None of that is really relevant if the heart of the car, if the motor doesn't work. So I'll put my focus there, but also be open to any deals that I find. Because I may want to swap the subframe out for an EG. I want to swap the rack out for one from an EG. We're still figuring these things out day by day, but if I just put my focus on the motor and then keep my eye out for deals on Facebook, eBay, wherever I may find them, I think we'll be all right. I consider junk cars as an option. By junk car, I mean parts car. If I go grab an EG off Facebook Marketplace, one that has, I don't know, a no start issue, that'd be great. And then it'd be up to me to decide, do I want to go and fix that no start? That's an option. I could either fix the no start and flip the car, or I can park that car out, take what I need, and then sell the rest for anyone else who needs parts, or store the parts for later. So I've got vision. I've got a vision here, and I've got passion. The goal here is to find out what we really should be doing in terms of relationships, the build I have going right here, and the financial side, which is, you know, cash flow. I'm not looking to hoard a bunch of money for myself. I'm looking to help other people, bring them value, and then pretty much feed off of that. So sure, I'm gonna take some money off of that. I'm gonna find parts that I want. I'm gonna find parts that I don't want, and those parts get sold or traded, maybe even donated, give them up to people who I think can put them to good use. And that said, I've got about 5 throttle cables right here. One of them being from the stock DX Civic, and then the others came from the Honda Element. You want to use a shorter throttle cable than the ones that come in these cars. The information isn't really solid, but from what I've seen, the people with the Integras, they want to use a shorter throttle cable. Even for me, I go by this book that I have, a K-swap guide. It says that my stock cable should be fine. Even that one was too long. So Element cable works for my car. I figured why not grab a few more and help other people advance their build as they are. So I've said a mouthful, kept most of the fluff out of it, and I think this gives the people a good idea of what I'm trying to do here. So, give you a look at the build here. There's the motor, intake, throttle body right here. Got it covered up so no debris gets inside. The Hasport mounts that I told you about. My AN lines, eBay fuel pressure regulator. We've got the stock fuel rail going right there. Like I said, stock shift cables. The brakes, master cylinder, clutch master cylinder. Those two need to be bled, of course, but like I said, not the main focus. I like that I have this belt on here. I don't like that it's rusty and dirty, but hey, it's on, so we're not complaining. We got a Type S harness right here from the RSX Type S. All right, a couple Allen keys that I've left up here. Battery, like I said, needs to be replaced. Fuse box holds my fuses. Charge harness that I told you about. All right. Is it pretty? No. Is it functional? Yes. And if it's getting voltage to the starter, I have to assume that it's going to be bringing the voltage from the alternator too. So as of right now, I trust it. The ins and outs of this build have really just been finding solutions, right? If something doesn't fit currently, it's like Lego pieces. Find the right ones that fit. I had to go through a couple tries with the charge harness until I actually got things to work out down here. And even now, the knock sensor had to be swapped from one harness to another. And we're gonna see how this works, because there's really no telling, man. There's really no telling. Some parts here I'm super confident about, other parts not so much. I know that this motor ran when I yanked it out that car. So if anything were to go wrong, it was when I took the head off, put the head studs in, and put the new head gasket on. But as far as I can tell, everything should be right. Worst case scenario, I put that new timing chain on and it's out of timing. And I would think that it's close enough. How do I want to word this? I'm confident in my timing job, but if it were to be off at all, the motor should still start up. It might misfire a bit, but I'm confident in my timing job is what I'm conveying here. Now, the belt drive, confident in this. It's on there tight. Trust that. Coolant hoses. Bottom one came from the stock D series, and I had to force it over my thermostat housing to get it to fit on there. Then we got it clamped on. We took the upper hose from K series, which came from this motor, cut it, got it to fit here. And By hand, it doesn't want to come off. It's on there tight, got it clamped down, clamped the shit out of it. So I trust that. Back behind the motor, that's where my heater core sits. We got a bunch of wires, cords, hoses and lines that need to be pulled away from that heat, away from the header. Heater core's back there that needs to be replaced before we can get the cooling system sorted out. All right, I got some hose to cut and measure, but for the most part, we're pretty good. We got a breather hose here from AutoZone. What's that, 5/12? 11/32 of an inch. All right, and that fits on there pretty snug to a point where I can't even pull it off. It would have to be cut off. I'm not tripping off that. And then we got the throttle cable here from the Element. Fits, I would say perfectly, but this is bottomed out. I can't adjust this anymore without it having too much slack in it. And that is just a it is what it is type of situation. My goal with this car is to get it running, driving, and then for it to not leave me stranded. So I don't want to see any comments about how much horsepower we're making, because that's irrelevant right now. We're looking to build a fun daily driver / road trip car, and I'm not trying to hear shit else. All right, the brakes. I'd like to believe that this can be cut with a lathe, because these are pretty new rotors. I did a conversion. These are Integra brakes on the front and the back, so I got discs back there, no drums. All right, if I need to go get new rotors and pads, so be it. Axle nut is on there. I haven't punched it or torqued it down yet because I don't know what I might have to take apart. We got RSX base axles, and then we have an intermediate shaft off there in the back. Had to go to the junkyard to get the right bolts, but the intermediate shaft is from eBay, China, 60 to 80 bucks. I expect it to run. I don't expect it to last, but for now it works for me. It's 200 bucks that I save for now until I have to, you know, get another one in the future. But who knows, maybe come across a deal. All right, but what I have right here, I expect this to work for now. Get the fuel pump running, get the battery replaced. What else do I need to do? Probably a handful of things. Biggest challenges for me have been staying focused on this build, because life demands more out of a man than just that he builds a car. Understandable. Another big battle has been against these mosquitoes, for which my solution has been, for one, layer up. I don't care if it's summer, but throw some cover on, and then tea tree oil seems to work for me to keep them off me. I don't know how much or how often I have to reapply it, because I don't really stay out here that long, but it works for now. I got faith in it. I've got my shift set up in here. A cord shifter with the little Mishimoto shift knob I got on top. Other than that, that's all cool. We got the Integra wheels on it, LS meshes, and then we got that Yonaka cat back I told you about. Okay, my rack down here, steering rack. So the current setup is EG steering rack, DC2 subframe, and apparently these two are not compatible together. And then we need to find the U-joint that hooks up the rack to the steering column. And this becomes 10 times more simple if I just go find an EG, yank the subframe out of it, along with the steering rack and the U-joint, plus the control arms. I might as well, if it's being thrown in for a deal. These control arms are from, I believe these are the stock control arms, but I had to go and pull the ends, right? By the ends, what do I mean?
I had to unbolt part of it. I had to unbolt parts from the EG and then bolt that onto my control arms to get that to be compatible. But now everything's subject to change because I don't know. I can't tell you how it's going to get done, but I'm going to get it done. Thanks for viewing. Thanks for tuning in while I figure these things out. Peace.